Howdy, this is Group 31's presentation on blackberries. My name is Maddie, and I worked with Lydia, Andrea, Garrison, Caroline, and Tram.
The blackberry belongs to the Rusticae family, making it genetically similar to apricot, peaches, roses, and strawberries. This family encompasses a wide variety of plants, both ornamentals and fruit crops. The blackberry's scientific name is Rubus fructosus. They are native to many parts of the world and were key staples in diets of native peoples of the Americas. Now they are grown commercially across the United States and are tolerant to the USD zones 4 through 10, shown in the heat maps depending on their variety.
Because blackberries have grown so rapidly and across such wide stretches, they have developed many different varieties or subspecies, which is controversial amongst botanists. While there are over 375 species of blackberry named in the Rubus genus, it's difficult to fully pinpoint an exact number. Some forums regard the plant as having a single but highly variable species, while others are convinced that each of the hundreds of varieties should be their own distinct species.
The Ochuteus variety is the most produced in the U.S. as it is a high yield, grows well across the tolerance zones, and has good shipping qualities. Blackberry production has been in the rise because of health-driven consumer demands. They are becoming increasingly popular in jams, jellies, as well as baked goods industry.
These are the growing requirements for blackberries, including climate and soil conditions, propagation methods, and water and nutrient management. For climate and soil conditions, we require sunny around the hardness zone of 4 to 9 according to the map. For the soil conditions, it needs to be organic and well drained for these blackberries to grow up. For the propagation methods, we include seed dispersion, layering, and cutting. Seed dispersion are animals that ingest the seed and disperse it as they dispose of the food they ingest. For layering in blackberries, this includes tip layering, which is where we dig a hole in the ground and bury the tip of the plant, where we let it grow until it grows a new pair of roots through ground contact, while still being part of the parent plant. Usually they bury 3 to 4 nodes where the leaves are cut off beforehand. It is also recommended to use a pot soil mix. Another propagation method includes cutting, which is usually done where they're dormant in the winter, where they don't stop growing, instead they grow slower. This varies on the climate. To do cuttings, you cut a section of the plant between 2 leaf nodes. Too much greenery can stress out the plant since the leaves make it lose too much moisture. It is best to keep it in place with low sunlight to retain moisture content. This helps it dissolve nutrients in the soil, making it available for the roots to absorb. The water and nutrient management requirements is for watering the first 3 weeks after planting, water it during the day frequently. After 3 weeks, we should be watering during the day and 1 to 2 inches per week and 4 inches during harvest. For nutrient management, the nutrients required for blackberries to thrive are nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. These nutrients work together to help the plant grow. Though nitrogen and potassium are not as mobile as nitrogen, they're still crucial to its development.
During the fruiting season when berries are growing, each individual plant can drink up to 2 gallons of water each week. Sandy loam is usually the most preferred soil type, and the blackberry's ideal soil pH is between 5.5 and 6.5, so it is slightly more acidic.
That's right, and soil pH affects the kinds of nutrients available for the crop. As Andrea said, blackberries have the highest intake of nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, 3 macronutrients. They also have a high intake of calcium, a micronutrient. Those 3 micronutrients are often more available in soils with lower pH, while calcium is more abundant in basic or neutral pH soils.
Growers should keep these things in mind when deciding whether to start growing blackberries, as well as during continual upkeep and maintenance. They will also need to consider how they are going to control and limit their crop's exposure to pests and diseases.
Blackberries are particularly susceptible to anthracnose, rust, and cane blight, which are all fungal diseases that affect the plant's ability to produce. Anthracnose causes sunken spots on both the leaves and the fruit droplets. Cane blight is when large brown spots develop and eventually kill off branches of canes, causing major losses. Rust can develop in two different types. Orange rust grows orange pustules on the underside of leaves, leading to a systematic disease that will require the removal of the entire plant, while cane and leaf rust is yellow, appears on leaves and canes, and might be mostly cured with well-placed pruning. In the cause of fungal developments, a copper-based fungicide or sulfur spray will work best to rid the droplets of disease.
Pests can be a little bit more tricky. Crown gall, aphids, cane borer, and other pests can devastate crops. For crown gall, it's best to just consult your county extension's agent. When dealing with aphids or other similar pests, you can often find a pesticide spray or treatment, such as bug killer or fruit tree spray, to solve the problem. Cane borer is a bit more crucial to catch early on, and therefore, as you will have to completely remove infected canes from your plants.
Maintaining your crops well is one of the best ways to keep your blackberry crops healthy and producing. Investing in varieties bred to be resistant to certain pests or fungi might save you more in the long run. If not that, then proper soil management, sanitation, crop rotation, as well as pruning well are all good management strategies to take.
When pruning, make sure that your plants are staked or have a trellis to keep them compact and upright. After the first round of berries are produced, trim all the producing canes back to the ground. Be sure you prune each main cane back to roughly 3 or 4 feet tall. Any side branches are to be cut at 12 inches. Pruning will happen at different times of the year depending on variety. For example, erect and semi-erect varieties need to be trimmed to the 3 to 4 foot mark during midsummer, forcing lateral bud growth to be lower on the main stem. Then, later in the fall or during dormancy, cut the lateral growth to roughly 6 to 18 inches.
After your crops have first begun flowering, you have roughly 35 to 45 days until the harvest period begins. Consumers usually prefer deep black, shiny berries, which comes towards the end of the harvest period. It's suggested that picking be done every 2 to 3 days in the morning when there's cool and dry weather. For smaller operations, hand picking might be the most preferred method of harvesting. This method is gentler handling the machine picking, which is genuinely better for crops being harvested later in the season. It is also optimal for fresh markets or when the time between harvest and consumers is very small. However, mechanical picking makes more sense for large farms. Machines are used to shake the canes, causing berries to fall. Producers choosing this method might save time but will risk bruising and lower yields. Machines can also be used for berry processing.
During winter months, most of the United States supply of berries comes from producers in Mexico. To keep supply stable during our dormant season, refrigerated trucks transport vast quantities of the berries into and across the United States. Because of their short shelf life, it is important that all shipping and processing be done as quickly and efficiently as possible after harvest.
Directly after harvesting, berries need to be cooled to between 0 and 2 degrees Celsius. This is why it's recommended that harvesting be done in the cool of the morning as opposed to the afternoon when berries are at a much higher temperature. They should be stored in shallow containers with lots of ventilation to prevent them from being crushed during transport. The refrigeration needs to be kept consistent throughout all stages of transportation and packing before reaching the consumers to ensure they are reaching commercial grocery shelves in the best conditions.
After that, it's up to consumers how they prepare their berries. With so much effort put into their growth and upkeep, consumers shouldn't waste them. And that wraps up our Blackberry presentation. Thanks, and gig 'em.